What's your guess? I'm going to say 13.2.
Welcome back, guys. Last video we finally brought Grandma's truck into the shop and addressed a couple little issues that I've been neglecting ever since we restored it. Certain little dash lights were on, not engine related, but we had ABS light and airbag light. Just a couple little orange lights that kind of, they don't look the greatest when you look down at your speed when you're going down the highway. But we got those taken care of. As far as we know, we're going to take it for a test drive, take care of a few errands, make a dump run, dump trailer in tow. Let's go.
Good morning, guys. Whew. Smoke is in the air. Big old wildfire up north, mixed with probably several others. But we got some smoke down here, and the power is out, which means no shop work right now. I had the dump trailer halfway loaded. Grandma's truck, we got some of those lights to go out. So let's start off the day with the test drive and go get something accomplished. Maybe a dump run. Sound good to you guys? Let's go. First thing is, if we get stuck in the line up there, we want to have a cold drink. Let's go ahead and hit these while they're still kind of cold. Oh, yep. Quick walk around. 9712 banger. Great Northern flatbed with the added toolboxes. Just pretend that's like an XPE hitch or something. We don't endorse that brand anymore. Ed dump trailer. This thing is just a legit little unit that anybody and their mother can tow. Plenty of trash. Weird looking little van from Montana. We sound good. Let's go. Okay, let's roll through some gears. My fuel light is still on. The tank is full. Trust me. Just topped her off. Let's go ahead up the hill. There was a big truck coming. Piece of tape right there when I got the truck. Leads me to believe that fuel light has been on for a long time. Now it's reading quarter tank, so it's doing something. But guess what? Last video, or 2 videos ago, you guys said check the speed sensor on the rear diff. The wires are broken. So our ABS light, that went out. And process of elimination on things that were still left over on the bench, sensors. Airbag sensors were not installed back on the truck. So we got the airbag light is off as well. The truck's starting. I tell you, it's a lot more appealing looking of a truck. When you touch the key, it's gonna start. Check out the smoke. This just blew in last night. It had touched down once about a week ago. There, 500,000 acres have burned up there. It's 500,000. You didn't know the math. That's a lot of damn acreage. It went out. All right. Right-hander. I think I'm low on power steering fluid, to be honest with you. Yeah, definitely are. What's your guess? I'm going to say 13.2. Oh, man. Hello. Oh.
Yep, all the lights are taken care of except for the fuel light, which is intermittent, so we need to swap out that sending unit in the tank, but we should probably get around to that sooner rather than later. Only thing else besides that one light would be getting the cruise control going, which I still haven't mastered on these 5-speed or 6-speed manual transmission swaps. But we're going to head back to the shop and try and see if we can nurse the 96 out of there now that we got all the fluid taken care of in it. Transmission's been new fluid and transfer case, throwout bearing, pilot bearing, you name it. We're trying to remedy a hard shift deal.
Need to pull this truck out of here for 2 reasons. We got to do a test drive. The last-ish video you guys saw of it, we're having trouble going into first, second, third, fifth, any of the gears, reverse especially. So I was thinking clutch hydraulics, put new clutch hydraulics in. That didn't help a lot, but it helped. Then it turned out the clutch pedal assembly underneath the dash where it pivots, it had wallered that all out. Put a new one of those in. It helped, but still always been fighting it. And I distinctly always remember fighting this truck back in the day, even when I put this clutch in. But I didn't remember if I put a new pilot bearing in back when I put this clutch in, back in the day. And I want to make one video comparing this truck, being that it is my 1.0 version. I'm going to compare it to my 2.0 version, my 98, and the 3.0 version, my 01. Grandma's truck arguably is in that category somewhere as well. But let's take this thing for a test drive. And I'm barely squeaking it out past the other projects. Guys, this first look, did we do anything bad? Oh, it went into gear. That'd be really nice if we can save that clutch. I want to say brake pedal light don't want to go off. I want to say that clutch was something like $1,300 without the flywheel back in the day. I got my vacuum lines hooked up the right way. Run up the hill, see how she does. This is the point of the drive where you hope you got every bolt back in there and tight. Actually, I missed one. I did miss one. I need to hunt it down, but should be alright. I can hear the transmission a little bit. It means I didn't get my boot down all the way. Yeah, well. I always kind of wondered what kind of horsepower this thing dished out, because it's willing to throw 40 psi boost. And every truck I've ever driven, it seems like they all, just as soon as they get into the power, the wastegate kicks in, not letting you have that last little bit. Stock wastegate's around 30, 33, somewhere in there. I've seen this one hitting 45. It's got a 60 psi gauge. It ain't using all of that. And I've always said that the trucks really come into power over 35 psi. At 40 up there on flat ground, already at RPM. So but about the time I built this truck up and put this 5-speed in it, I had a family member that had a 04.5, which is a high output variant common rail. And I was so blown away and so surprised. Oh, I didn't hook up the vacuum line for the transfer case. That's why we got stuff's acting funny. But I was so blown away and so surprised at how much better off common rail horsepower was than a 12 valve, because this thing was stock with a 47 transmission, nothing extreme, and then I put this 5-speed in it and the pump was already turned up. I still fully don't know exactly what's been done to it, but my uncle got that 04 and I couldn't believe how freaking fast it was for a stock truck. It was unreal. You gotta think though, that was like 2011. So that truck was still pretty new. And it ripped. So when we did the 5-speed swap at this thing, I was like, man, this might actually keep up with or be better than the common rail. The only thing that this really needs, since it's throwing as much boost as it does, it wouldn't be a bad idea to have, you know, bed studs. Air conditioning that work would be nice, so I could talk to you guys and not be dying in here. But it doesn't have the RPMs to really get that boost. I mean, just as soon as your boost is really coming in, you start running out of fuel because you don't got any RPMs left to throw at it. It's governed RPM. It stock 2,500, somewhere in there. But this truck, I always felt like it had mid-3s or a little higher, which doesn't seem like a lot, but for a 12 valve with just mild tuning and extra boost, this thing freaking scoots. All right, here's the test right here. First gear. Oh! Clutch all the way in. Ugh. Now, alright, we'll get up here and we'll talk about this real quick. Come up with a game plan. Because it is better, but it's not great. Park right here in the shade and we'll talk about this thing real quick. Hey. Yeah, I did just spend 8-9 hours swapping out and going over some ideas. But that's the thing is, I always kind of guessed those back in the day, if those were actually the issues that I was fighting the truck going into gear. You know, I highly doubt that it's a transmission, you know, because it feels tight. So it's something to do with the clutch. But where we stand right now, I had a comment saying time for a full frame off restoration. More or less that's what I did at Grandma's truck. And there is a ton of work that goes into it. And it just, honestly, for a running driving truck, it's not really worth it to do a full nut and bolt like that. I mean, every bolt on Grandma's truck, I literally cleaned every bolt that came off that truck before it put back on it. Painted everything before it got put back on. And there's still tons of room for improvement. But this truck here, we're still on the hunt for a bed. Look at that. Boxed in junk. The tailgate seeing some damage. Poor bed over here. So I'm going to make the video comparing it to the 2.0 and 3.0. But this thing, we're not going to do a full nut and bolt restoration on it. It's going to get a paint job. It's going to, more than likely, when it goes back in the shop and get torn back apart, I'll put a different clutch in it. But it's drivable right now. It's just a little frustrating. It's so slow going into gear, which really sucks. But yeah, if you didn't see the last video, all that chrome rocker stuff on it, it was trapping moisture. So luckily we pulled it off when we did. Another couple of years, that probably would have ate through it. But let's end this one here. I'm going to go ahead and get the other truck out to compare the two. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you on the next one. Later.